Okay, hello. How are you? What can I say? There are a lot of cliches that I can say something nice about the beginning of the class, the first of class, but all I can say is bottom line is okay, welcome. I'm so pleased to see you, all of you, to have you in this classroom. That's all. So, uh, as hopefully all of you know, this course is English spoken course. Uh, it doesn't say that my English is, good enough to deliver all these lectures in English, but there was a reason why our department set up this at least one this English spoken course, and I happen to be the victim or culprit to maintain this course. So probably the history of this understanding life science in English lecture has been actually in this department. It's been more than 10 years by now, okay, by me. So obviously, there's been a lot of updates and changes, but still the main theme has been basically maintained the same. So anyway, so this is my basic information, and probably, oh, cannot set up Wi-Fi correctly right now. Some reasons. So for now, for today's, I have to go ahead and just forget about this marking. Sorry. So anyway, this might be the only useful information. Oh, forget it. I can't. So this my cell phone number, so you can text me with this number whenever you have some questions or some emergency situation come up to notify me, whatever. Also, my email, so you can always use this email to communicate with me. So that's all. And so this, as I said, the okay. Although this basically is a English spoken lecture course, but during the exam, on the exam question, of course, the question themselves, exam question themselves will be written in English, okay? But for your preferences, some of you may have some preferences. I don't want to speak, I don't want to use or write down English. I hate English. I respect you. So in that case, you can use your own language, Korean, which in this case, Korean, in answering. Although this later, although the exam will consist of majority of multiple choice questions, okay. So all you gotta do to answer to those multiple choice questions would be simply pick, well, depend on your luck. But there will be some short answer essay questions so that you have to compose a short sentence to answer. In that case, you can use Korean, okay, if you feel more comfortable to write. Just because you use Korean in writing down your answer, you not have any penalty or disadvantage. As long as what I actually want to see is the logic, how clean and how logically sound the answer is. It doesn't matter whether it is in English or in Korean. Yeah. Unfortunately, English and Korean are unfortunately only two languages that I can understand. So even if you have other options like Chinese or Japanese or Arabic, but unfortunately I cannot understand. So please do not use those languages in answering the exam. Okay. And what else? And there are no textbooks. It's bugging me. Just okay. We are in the same net. Oh, shoot. Okay. Forget it. So you don't have any textbook to buy, so you can save a little money, which is good. I put only on the syllabus a couple of two reference books, which mainly for picking up some figures, okay, purposes, mainly. That's why I have assigned those two reference books. And one of them I have actually uploaded the link for download The fact is that is an EPUB, the ebook format. So you can, if you succeed in downloading it, you can enjoy that viewing the book in your device, any mobile device or computer. Actually, I went into some hacking site in Russia and then stole that book. So yeah, that itself is strictly illegal behavior. That's what I did. And luckily in Korea still, that site is unblocked. Recently I came back from US. I was visiting my daughter in US, and that's in US when I was trying to get access to that site. I got infected with horrible computer viruses. The site was blocked in the US, which is a good country, yes, that's why. But still, Korea is really generous country, so that we still can have access, free access to. And if you're interested in actually, you can go there and then download a lot of goody, actual original textbooks, although they are all in written in English though. So if you are interested in, I can let you know. So just let me know privately, then I will send you the link. Russians are all good. So this book. So actually this ebook has been used as a really important textbook in US, in college textbook for introductory biology course. So there is format and contents very good. So I wish I could use this as an actual textbook, but like I said, it's not really easy for you to get hold of unless I just provide this illegal download site. So I cannot really officially assign this as a textbook, the legal issues. That's why I didn't decide to use this one. A lot of these contents are really relevant to this course that I am going to cover. So, and the other one is actually I like even better. This one is by that renowned, but although late, he is no longer with us, this E.O. Wilson, Life on Earth, and it's free, but only available in Apple's iBook store. So if you unfortunately happen to be an Android or PC users, I'm sorry, you can't get them. So that's why I couldn't use this as an official textbook. Actually, this E.O. Wilson happened to be the academic, the PhD advisor to this renowned Professor Che Hae-chun. So this E.O. Wilson is a conservation biologist, real biologist. There are two different groups of biologists. Those who are only interested in chemistry and molecules, like molecular biology, like the jerks. They are all jerks, like me. But the really nice people really worrying about the earth and the living things, they are called and regarded as a conservation biologist, and E.O. Wilson is one of them. So this is actually a 7-book series. So if you are lucky to be on the iPad or Mac users, you can really enjoy the whole richness, depth, and comprehensiveness of this textbook. So even though I'm not using this book as an official textbook in this course, but I really strongly urge you to grab this, and then in your free time, try to go over all this elegantly written description of this whole thing about life. Like some of the contents organized like this. Okay. By the way, is it recording? Okay. Begin to suspicious. Okay. All right. So these lectures, although it is not really convenient in the format, as you notice that this whole slide version of lecture handout converted into PDF forms are up in the Snowboard. And these days, actually, I've noticed that none of you are actually bringing the print version of a paper, printout version of any handout. So that's good. So in that way, we can go over this slide version of the file so that you can use the mobile, like iPad-like device, which is I really like those way of communication during the classes. And then finally, it came true. So good. So in this way, lecture handout will be provided. So the same lecture slide I go over, you will have on the maybe perhaps weekly basis, or maybe depending on the actual progress of this lecture. Okay, and also lecture recordings. Where is it? Even I lost my cursor. Oh, whatever. So this lecture recordings. So this slide and ugly faces of me is being recorded right now, and then later, after the class is over, and it takes some time to convert. This video conversion process is no joke, so it takes some time. But anyway, pending success of this conversion process, I'm going to upload this each lecture recording on my YouTube, personal YouTube site. Because if I try to upload this video file directly onto Snowboard, the file size limitation, there's no way, because each lecture, the size of the file, movie file, will way exceed several gigabytes, but the Snowboard, the school limitation is only several hundred megabytes. So no way, I cannot. So that's why I upload this video into my YouTube channel. I've been actually running this YouTube channel for this purpose only for more than 10 years, actually. I always record this lecture. The purpose of recording this lecture is being that I'm a strong believer of no one should attend the classroom all the way through. There will be always an occasion that you cannot come to the classroom. There are so many different reasons. So in that case, you have some result to go back and then review. And that's the purpose, actually. So I'm not encouraging you to skip the classroom. No, don't get me wrong. But on the other hand, I don't think that you attend every lecture on this classroom. That doesn't mean anything. I don't think. So what? The important thing is how, the way you absorb this lecture material, wherever you are. Okay? So I don't give a S. I don't really give an S about 100% attendance record on anything. So anyway, this YouTube channel is, because of that, it's ads-free. I don't put any, because it is not from any commercial benefit reason. So it's ads-free, so you don't have to feel any pressure on any good dog and subscription and the like button. Oh, forget about that. Okay, it doesn't help. Your subscription or like button does not really help preparing the movie files. So just feel free, enjoy, and then leave. So, because of this YouTube channel and lecture recording, So in the event that I have to cancel the classroom, like in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks from now, probably I will have to cancel 2 classes because of this long Chuseok holiday. So I have to give you a makeup lecture for that. For that makeup lecture, instead of scheduling extra classroom, I'm going to make some lecture recordings and then put up on the YouTube so that you can have that as a makeup lecture. Okay, midterm scheduled preliminary, although, and 8th week will be October 23rd in this classroom at the same time. And final exam will be December 11th, 15th week, assuming that we are going to handle this makeup lecture through this video record. Then we can finish this whole semester within 15 weeks. That's how I scheduled. And just in case if you feel more time in taking and finishing the exam, I have actually already reserved the extended hour after this classroom on these 2 days. So if you do not have any other classroom after this, you can stay and enjoy extended exam hours. Like otherwise, exam hour will be hour and 15 minutes, right? But because my exam will be open book format, so some of you may feel, hey, I need some more time. In that case, okay, I will give you 2 hours. So if you can take advantage of a 2-hour exam, for example, so that like assuming you don't have any after class after this this course, then you can stay longer and during the exam. Okay, so if you want to do that, then probably you might want to go ahead and then pre-arrange this thing if you have another classroom after this lecture. Then go to the professor, hey, I have an exam on that day and blah blah blah, so that can I skip the lecture on that day because I have to have an extended exam hour and anything. So explain. You can explain and then arrange yourself. Okay. Okay. And during these exam weeks, because the exam, both midterm and final exam will be held on Wednesdays, on the Monday class will be still in session. We are going to have a lecture on Mondays. An exam format will be multiple choice question plus short essay questions. When time comes, then I'm going to put up some previous Jokbo, previous exam, so that you can have some ideas about what's the type of the exam this guy would like to have. So you will know. And you can answer the essay questions in Korean as well as in English, like I said. And even you can have some, in a given one single sentence, you can have, in a single sentence is too much, but in a single phrase, you can have a mixture of Korean and English sentence, if you like. The point is, as long as I can understand and appreciate your logic, that's all I'm looking for. And the question will be based on only any topics that I covered or some of the things related with it. And exam mode will be open book, even including the internet search. So you can search so you can bring your own like usual electronic device during the exam. You can use them. Okay? Search it. And what did I say? Even this ChatGPT, sure, go ahead and use it. So let's see. Who's better? So ChatGPT, you can try to consult with ChatGPT. Yeah, let's see. So I've done that actually in adult classrooms, permitted that using even ChatGPT, and it didn't have any negative impact. So I think still I can go ahead and use this format. It's been already like more than 5 years of having this type of exam mode, like open book, allowing internet search. And I think my personal evaluation of this way of having exam is so far so good actually. Because the only main reason why I have this way of examining instead of a conventional, like shallow memory oriented exam is that reason. I don't want to actually reward any shallow memorization based learning. I want to actually reward more of this. Okay, because in these days, the total whole world has been already changed. So the informations are already plenty. There are flooded information available out there. The fact of the matter now for your competitiveness is not how much you memorize, no way, but how you can cleverly, wisely pick only some information that you need and connect and compose those information for your own purpose. Is actually, especially in this era of even AI like ChatGPT, that type of ability should be more emphasized. So that's why I'd like to have the exam in this way always. But some of the potential, like downside of is, hey, what if everybody actually have some kind of conspiracy in mind so that they actually work together during the exam? There will be somehow undesirable consequences. So because of that, so any consulting with any living person, whether it's inside or outside during the exam, through your messengers like KakaoTalk or anything, hey, what's the answer of this question number 5? Well, tell me. Type of thing, if will be strictly considered as an academic misconduct, the cheating, and will be dealt as accordingly as the university law. I will follow the university law of that academic misconduct. So other than that, everything is you can freely enjoy the exam. And 45%, 10% attendance, as you can see already. So in the syllabus. Okay, so about attendance. So attendance will be checked, except for today's first day of class. Everybody will be given a freebie of attendance. So each attendance, I'm going to check personally the attendance, not through this electronically, but this way, the attendance. I'm going to bring a small piece of a scrap paper and then hand it out to you. Actually, probably I will put the stack of a scrap paper over there somewhere so that you can grab one. And when you leave the classroom, at the end of the class, you write down your name and then you just return your scrap paper so that in that way I can. So only one scrap paper per each person. Hey, I have my friend's scrap paper. No, please no. So you can directly, personally hand the scrap paper to me so that in that way we can have a correct, genuine way of attendance check. But that is not the reason actually I'm using this attendance scrap paper. The actual reason is I'd like to have your question during the lecture. So on the script paper, write down, if you have any question during the lecture, hey, what did you say about that? I cannot really understand. So can you explain once more? Type of question, anything, write down. And even that question is not limited to that days of lecture content. No, your mind flows. So if something struck you, hey, I was wondering, and what's going on about something. So even if that's totally unrelated with this lecture, you can write down your question. Of course, I'm not know-it-all, obviously, but at least I can look where to look and then try to answer. So that some of those, although I really like to cover all of your questions, but time limitation, because of the time limitation, some of the selected questions I will try to answer during the lecture or of the previous, some of the selected questions. In that way, we can have a more in-depth lecture experience. That's why, actually. Your attendance, I don't really give a S about your attendance. So what if I don't have any questions? And show off your other talent of drawing something. I don't have any question, anything. This lecture is whole boring. I want to just go out, get out, and then write down to express your mindset. Okay. So anything drawing that impresses or that captures you the most during the moment will be really highly appreciated. Sometimes even I actually share some of the really nice drawing in the past, in the previous lectures, the drawing. Not only the questions, but some of your drawings we shared during the lecture to appreciate your talent and your insight. So, and so what? What do I get if I just turn in this script attendance paper? Yeah, each attendance script paper you just return, you will earn 0.5 point of attendance. But during the exam and today and during the makeup lecture period, like a Chuseok holidays, you will get automatically, you will get 0.5 attendance points. So you have already what? 1 point, 2 point, 2.5. You have already by default earned 2.5 attendance points, right? Listen. So then what's the deal? Your attendance point cannot exceed 10 points. So from now on, all you gotta do, all you have to get in your attendance point is only 7.5 points. You do the math. How many class you should come to fulfill the rest of the 7.5 points. Get it? Okay. So in that way, my philosophy of you don't really have to come to every classroom became consistent. All right. But there is an occasion, really, that there is no way I can do something about. If you miss either midterm or final exam, then you will get automatically with a failing grade of an F. So please, if you have any emergency situation so that you could not come to the exam, then immediately, as soon as possible, you notified me so that we'll try to find if there is anything we can try to avoid such failing grade, unless if that's something that you want. And this academic misconduct everyone should know. Okay. So, unfortunately, I cannot really provide you any of the refreshment by myself. So you have to bring your own refreshment during the lecture. In other words, trying to have a coffee drink or any drinks during the lecture is perfectly okay, completely permitted, or even encouraged sometimes to boost up your local economy, as long as you clean up after yourself. Other than that, any question? Nope. Okay. So I'm not. I'm done about this orientation part of this class, but still, I'm not going to let you go, even if it's just the first day of class. So I'm going to have a little bit of a lecture today, if that's okay with you. Not okay? Okay, good. Thank you. So the first part of this lecture is about actual life definition and life's characteristics. What's life? So most of you would agree that life is very complex. Any life form, even if it's the simplest, one of the most simple life form, actually, if you examine carefully, and that one even, that organization itself is so complex, and their even behavior and their chemistry, biochemical, whole the interaction and the reactions are even more complex. So because of that, it's really, really difficult. Traditionally, historically, it's been very difficult to clearly understand the nature of life. But these days, things got better because of these technological advances. Fine, okay, good for you. But still, I'm still hungry. There are still a long way to go to completely understand the life whole, this basics. For example, these fundamental 4 different types of fundamental questions regarding biology might be probably commonly asked by most of people who are interested in the mystery or wonder of biology. First is what life is made of. What's the chemical basis of? Life is actually made of materials, right? So let's just put, for now, during this lecture, let's put this whole thing, spiritual things aside, because we cannot really test whether there is actually spirit or not in scientifically. So even if there is actually spirit, I'd like to believe actually, as one of the bad pseudo-Catholics. I don't go to church anymore, like in the past 20 years. I never went to church, but still claim myself as a kind of a Catholic. So what kind of a Catholic are you? Anyway, so those are spiritual things, even if that's really true, exist, but there is no room in this science class because there is no way we can test whether that exists or not. So in science, we only deal with something that we can test, whether we can prove this it or disprove it. So anyway, so at least apparently life seems to be made of material, chemicals. And so how does it work to maintain all this complex organization of life? This is still a mystery. Largely, you don't really know. The second most popular question would be genes, about genes. Wonders of the genes. How do this gene, the genetic informations, are organized and like transmitted onto the next generation, and how do they function? It's a still mystery, and I am one of them who is pursuing those mysteries about the genes and whole life diversities. Why there are so many different organisms, life diversity. What's the origin of this diversity, and how, what kind of a process has been taken up to have this widespread different diversity? Is another really big questions to remain unanswered. And finally, these interactions also. All these interactions, including the ecology and behavioral things with the environment and with the animals and plants, one another. So anyway, so complexity. This whole complexity begins with this basic unit of organization in all life, which is the cell. Cell is the basic organization of the all life form. Except, so all this life form you find on Earth begin with the cell as the smallest organizational unit of the all life form is the cell. Hey, what about the viruses? Yeah, viruses are not organized as cell. That's why we consider viruses non-living. No matter how they are wonderfully bothering us, and no matter how beautifully they metabolize and infect us, and then infect and affect us, still, because they are not based upon cell, so we do not consider them as a living thing. Anyway, so this whole organization cell and the materials. So the life organization is basically the chemistry. Life is chemistry. But when we try to think of chemistry, these whole elements, some of them should be familiar with, some others are less familiar. But anyway, these are all the elements, non-living, simple matters, elements. But the cell is the basic fundamental unit of living, but they are made of this whole non-living chemicals like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, magnesium, calcium, whatever. There are so many different elements, but only handful of, few of them most abundantly appear on the living material. But anyway, so life is built based upon chemistry. So all these chemical elements were gathered, assembled to build the cellular structures, and then it became voila, a living cell. But one thing, even if all these life forms are made of 야, 나 수업 중인데. Sorry. So, especially all those chemicals, elements, so everyone knows the difference between element and molecules? Yes or no? Okay, fine. Let's put it this way. Element is small things, little individual things. Molecules are combined elements, connected elements. So two elements get together to become a molecule. So molecule is by default is a bigger things, bigger elements connected through some mysterious way of something called, we call it the chemical bond. Okay. So anyway, these are molecules, and especially this whole life, one of the really important materials in building life form is this something called organic molecules. Organic macromolecules, actually, to be more specific. What's macromolecules? Guess what? Molecules are what? What did I say about the molecules? It's a combined element, so a little bigger elements. But what about the macromolecules? The opposite of micromolecules, right? So macromolecule means big molecules, really big molecules. Can some of you who has a little bit of more biology background in your high school or in your previous life, whatever, can some of you actually name the example of such macromolecules? Anyone? What macromolecules do we know? None? Carbohydrate, yes, that's one very good example of a macromolecule. What else? Carbohydrate. Protein, yes, and? Lipid, yes, okay. What else? There's only one left. There are only 4 macromolecules that are found in cell, basically the group of macromolecules. So we got carbohydrates and protein, lipid, and what else? What? Water. Water is not macromolecule. Water is actually very small, although very important molecule in life, but water is not a macromolecule because it's a small. So protein, carbohydrate, lipid, and what else? The most essential macromolecule in your cell. Without it, you're nothing. Did you say something? Have you heard of this DNA? Or what about this RNA? DNA and RNA combined, what do you call this DNA and RNA? Thank you, nucleic acid, right. So that's the fourth category. Well, there are 4 different categories of such macromolecules: protein, lipids, carbohydrate, and nucleic acid. 4 different types of macromolecules. These are the main characters to assemble the whole cell. So if you actually take part of all different parts of the cell, some part is made of lipid, some other part is made of nucleic acid, some other part is made of carbohydrate, and some other parts are a combination of carbohydrate and lipids and whatever, all those things. So these are the macromolecules. But what about this organic? So what's the difference? Organic macromolecules, what would be the opposite term of organic macromolecules then? Organic. Here. The opposite of organic would be inorganic. So what's the difference between inorganic and organic? Would you come to the front and explain the difference between organic and inorganic? No thanks? What's organic and what's inorganic? These are the two opposite terms, organic versus inorganic. Something like on your supermarket, organics are natural and inorganics are unnatural? No. No one? Organic means something containing carbon. Inorganic means does not contain any carbon. So there is only one exception that's still having carbon but regarded as an inorganic molecule is this. Carbon dioxide, obviously it contains a carbon, but that is regarded as an inorganic material, inorganic molecule. Other all these molecules containing the carbon, we call them as an organic molecule. So macromolecule, but it has to be organic macromolecules. Actually, there is no way. So if someone put on purpose, instead of cross this organic out and inorganic, and see what happens. So like inorganic macromolecules, it's a paradox. There is no such thing like inorganic macromolecules. That's a very important concept. Why? If you want to have these macromolecules, it's gotta be organic molecule. Why? Inorganic cannot build big molecules. Only carbon can allow this assemble a big thing, organic molecule. So when you say macromolecules, actually there is actually already by default that means organics. It has to be organic. Carbon can only do this. So that's why actually organic means organism. Why carbon is associated with something like living things and organism? It's because these carbon containing molecules are exclusively found only in living tissues or those tissues, those material that at least has once lived. Non-living material, you cannot really find any of these carbon-containing things so abundant, carbon-containing macromolecules. So anyway, you will get this later. But I'm only just emphasizing the importance of these macro-organic things. So this living versus non-living things are these all non-living materials are also found. The same non-living elements are also found in the cell, living cell too. But the question is, the drawing is what this drawing is trying to illustrate is what? The organization. Even if the same material, once they become a part of this living things, then totally different organizational form emerges inside of the living. So that's the difference between non-living and living things. And this organization pattern is one way of describing this different organization pattern is, hey, this is an organic macromolecules. Only living things, they assemble these organic living molecules and then use them for their maintenance. So this cell, so all these living creatures begins with the basic fundamental unit, organization unit we call a cell, but there are two different types of cells. One is called the prokaryote. The other one is eukaryote. And prokaryotes are more primitive. And these are the two cartoons illustrating difference between prokaryote and eukaryote. Which one do you think is a prokaryote and which one do you think is a eukaryote? Illustration between these two. Left or right? Prokaryote. Left, yeah. So, how do they look different? Simple, yes. It's in what way? Why do they have so many different garbages inside of this? So this is an illustration, a cartoon of eukaryotes. Eukaryotes have so many different garbages, and prokaryotes enjoy very simplistic, clean lifestyle, which I really respect. So, and another thing is actually exaggeration. Actually, the size is 1/10. The size of every size of the prokaryote cell is 1/10 of this illustration. So really, prokaryote cell size is really tiny compared with big, large eukaryote cell. So prokaryotes, by definition, the reason why they are called prokaryotes, prokaryote means a nucleus. So they were there before nucleus. That means prokaryotes. So they don't have any nucleus. That doesn't mean they don't have any DNA. They do have DNA, but their DNA is naked. They're not wrapped in some kind of membrane, wrapped, we call the structure called nucleus. They don't have them. And another thing is, not only do they have lack the nucleus like here, so even in the case of eukaryote, they have this, some boundary, which we call the nucleus. But they don't have any protection. So the naked DNA, that's one big difference between pro and eukaryote. And another thing you obviously notice immediately is so many different internal membrane sac-like structures we collectively call what? Organelle. So they don't have any such organelle. So these are the two major differences between pro and eukaryotic cells. So that's why we usually call prokaryote as a very simple. Yeah. And size, as I mentioned, is very small. And also another thing is single-celled. They don't live together. They don't have any multicellular entity in prokaryotic field. So all of these prokaryotic cells, the organisms are so-called unicellular organism, single-celled organism. That doesn't mean that all these eukaryotes are multicellular. No. Can anyone name one very good example, obviously example of unicellular eukaryote? Anyone knows? It's very famous. Especially you are beer lover, you cannot miss this organism. It is a eukaryote but single-celled organism. Yeast. That we extract the beer from their metabolism, the yeast, is a single-celled bacteria look like small single-celled organism, but they are eukaryotes. So not all eukaryotes are multicellular. Some of them, by their own choice, they live on this unicellular lifestyle. So eukaryotes are evolved from prokaryotes, evidence suggests, and they do have a membrane-bound nucleus and large size, and they do have organelles. So, okay, let's finish with this concept of compartmentalization of eukaryotes organelle. That will be the last topic of this lecture today. So, as you see, there are so many different, complex-looking, internal. Can anyone recognize this particular organelle? Mitochondria, yes. Mitochondria, which generate the energy, ATP, and so many other different organelles. The question is, why? Why only eukaryote enjoy this luxury of organelles? Fine, prokaryote, okay, fine, you, granted that you do not have a nucleus, fine. But at least you could try for the several billion years of your existence. Have you ever thought about at least having one or two organelles? It doesn't hurt. Why didn't you try? Silly prokaryote. Why only eukaryotes? During the course of evolution, you could imagine that some of the prokaryotes could try, hey, I want to have some of those eukaryote organelle I'd like to also have. So let's try to have some of this organelle. Even though I'm prokaryote, but so what? I'm going to have one. But none of prokaryote having organelle ever been found. Why? What? They don't need it, but how? Why don't? So simply I don't like this kind of whole headaches. So I want to have a simple life. Maybe, but at least one thing is you are correct. You're right on that they don't need them. Only eukaryotes need organelle. That's what I'm trying to explain, this concept of the compartmentalization. Why? Why eukaryotes need organelles, whereas prokaryotes don't need them? Yeah, kind of. So let's imagine that let's imagine the days when you were a prokaryote. Life was simple, good old days. So you woke up, you're hungry, so you grab a ramen on your left and your pot on your right hand, and everything is within your arm's reach. Because you are freaking small in size. So any convenient, efficient metabolism can be carried away within this small space. Small size, that's the beauty of a small size. You can do whatever you want, okay, within this. Now then, all of a sudden, suddenly you became eukaryote. One big difference between pro and eukaryote is the size. Now you're left alone in this big room. Oh, you woke up and now, am I a eukaryote? Wow. Let's see what I have. You're hungry, so you grab ramen and try to reach your pot, and pot is all the way over there. So you try to go after the pot, and then your ramen escapes. So you cannot perform the chemical reactions as efficiently as you were in the prokaryote. So you had to come up with something. Oh shoot, I gotta do something about it. So now you make little different compartments And within each compartment, you just assign, now in this section, you do only this chemical reaction. Then now this is a small space, you can do this chemical reaction as efficiently as you were in prokaryote. That's why. So these organelles are not a luxury, but it's a necessity to become eukaryote. So eukaryote, or one big color to become eukaryote is a big size actually. In other words, if you want to expand your size as a prokaryote, if you want to somehow, you have some kind of thought about expanding your size, then you also need to have one of those organelles. Otherwise, you cannot survive, you cannot function. So what's the function, what's the role of organelles in eukaryotes? Then that word is something called compartmentalization. So each different sectors within which specializing in specific chemical reaction is the reason for these organelles. Okay? Any question? Then have a nice day and see you on Wednesday.